Yo, what is up? I'm Zach. Welcome back to my channel of RWBY Mythology. Today, I'm bringing you guys another RWBY discussion video and theory or something like that of a potential chance that Team RWBY might become the Maidens, the next Maidens in their own way. And a lot of people wanted this to happen. And there are those who do not want this to happen. And I'm basically one of them who do not want this to happen, but potentially it might happen. I mean, think about it. Like, of course, you're going to have the main characters to defeat the main villain, since Team RWBY are the main characters, and Salem is the main villain. They pretty much had to defeat Salem, and they're gonna need the maiden powers to achieve to beat her. If they gonna go that logic when it comes to the plots and the plot armor and the Shonen Jump scenario, how they go. And we're basically going to talk about which kind of maiden each of the characters would have if they do become a maiden. Some people think that, well, some people did like a spring, the season in order. Like, of course, Weiss has to be the winter maiden. It just makes a lot more sense. Some people think that RWBY should be a spring maiden. Yang should have been a summer maiden, and Blake should have been the fall maiden, which that would not work because that would not make no sense for RWBY to be a spring maiden, and it would make no sense for Blake being a fall maiden. Same goes for Yang being a summer maiden. So basically, Weiss being the winter maiden, Yang being the spring maiden, because keep this in mind, her mother is a spring maiden, and if anything happens to Raven, who would be the last person that Raven would actually think of? Her daughter, Yang. So it will make a lot more sense that Raven will give the spring maiden powers to her daughter, and Blake would definitely be a summer maiden. That just makes a lot more sense, which leads to RWBY to be a fall maiden. And it just makes a lot more sense to just have RWBY as a spring maiden, Yang as for summer maiden, and Blake being a fall maiden. It just wouldn't make no sense. So it's best to have RWBY being the fall maiden after killing Cinder, and Blake being the summer maiden. We actually don't know who is the summer maiden that we saw in the Volume 9 Beyond, and Yang being the spring maiden because her mother is a spring maiden. Now, let's say neither of these characters becomes a maiden. Then who will? Well, let's go with the fall maiden. If anything happened to Cinder, who would be the last person that she would give the fall maiden to? It would be Emerald. Why? Well, think about it for a second. Emerald was the first person that Cinder actually found and met, and the person that she trusted, and now the person that betrayed Cinder. And if anything's happened to Cinder, she's basically going to have no choice to swallow her damn pride over her power to give the fall maiden to Emerald instead of Salem. So it has to be Emerald to gain the fall maiden. Now, if anything happens to Weiss, if anything happened to Winter, the Winter maiden will still obviously go straight to Weiss. There's no doubt about that. Same goes for Yang. If anything happens to Raven, the Spring Maiden just goes straight to Yang. There's no doubt about it. So basically, only half of the member of Team RWBY will have the Maiden powers. Weiss and Yang as a Winter Maiden and a Spring Maiden, because of their family members are tied together. It would make sense they would pass down by their family members. Now the question is, who will be the Summer Maiden if anything happens to, well, the Summer Maiden, the unknown Silver Maiden person? I've seen a fan art where someone have Nora being the Summer Maiden. Now think about that for a second. And I think it would make a lot more sense. One, Osmond tried to make Pyrrha the Fall Maiden, and Pyrrha is one of the members of Team Juniper. Look where that happened. But does it make a lot more sense to have one person to be a Summer Maiden in the member of Team Alpine / Juniper? Who would be the best option? Nora. And it actually would fit her character development when she says she wants to find herself, to find out who she is, who is Nora Valkyrie. So, her being a Summer Maiden would make a lot more sense for Nora. So, that means you have Nora as Summer Maiden, you have Emerald as a Fall Maiden, you have Weiss as Winter Maiden, and you have Yang as a Spring Maiden. And it just makes a lot more sense if you really think about it. But if I had to choose who should be a Winter Maiden or Spring Maiden, it's basically just gonna be Weiss and Raven for now, because let's be honest, Cinder lost against Penny as a Winter Maiden and lost against Winter when she was as a Winter Maiden. And Cinder didn't win against Raven when she was a Spring Maiden. So basically with their skills, Raven and Winter and Raven will still be the Spring and Winter Maiden until they actually do die. And the only two people I could think of for both of them to pass down the Winter and Spring Maiden is Weiss and Yang. And that's it. And the only two people I could think of that will be the next Summer Maiden and Fall Maiden is Nora and Emerald. And that's it. So, but I do have a little bit of suspicion they might try to make the whole team members of Team RWBY to be the full maidens in their own way, to be like, you know, your typical shonen style, whatever. You know, you gotta have the main characters to defeat the enemies, the main antagonists, or so to speak. But that's what I had in mind. So it may happen, it may not happen, but knowing what the story is going, I don't see it happening. So that's all I have to say. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social media will be down below in the description box, so you guys know the drill. Links to my Cash App, PayPal, Ko-fi, all that will be down below in the description box and in my bio if you guys want to donate to support the channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. RWBY is love, RWBY is life, keep moving forward, and I'll see you guys later.